What's going on, everybody? Alonzo here with GulfCoastSmoke.com, and today we're making strawberry jalapeno pork belly burnt-ends. Kind of a mouthful, but today it's going to be all about the barbecue sauce that we're putting on top of these burnt ends. So we've got our ingredients laid out today. We're going to start with some strawberry jam, a good quality barbecue sauce, 2 fresh jalapenos. I've got a pork belly here that has the skin off, but the fat is still on. And then I've got some Killer Hogs AP seasoning. The reason we're going to use Killer Hogs AP seasoning for this today is because this jam and barbecue mixture is going to bring a lot of sweetness. So we want to make sure that the seasoning we use today is savory. So if you guys don't have the Killer Hogs AP at the house, just make sure to use something that's salt, pepper, garlic based, and I think you're going to be a-okay. The first thing we're going to do with our pork belly is we're going to cut this into about 1 inch by 1 inch cubes. The preparation on this pork belly is really simple. Just make sure you have a sharp knife where you can make some nice cubes here. And just a few seconds later, this should be what you're working with. The great part about this pork belly is you see that nice piece of that meat, and then you have that fat right in the middle. So as long as we render this out perfectly, you're going to have a great texture, and it's going to be nice, fluffy, pillowy, and it's going to be really, really juicy. Now I'm going to start transferring my pork belly over to a wire rack. This is going to make taking it in and out of our Traeger extremely simple. One of the hardest things about this, honestly, is working with it with these cubes. So I do definitely recommend putting it on something that's going to make it easier for you to transfer. I talked a little bit about the seasoning we were going to use earlier, but we are going to be using that Killer Hogs AP, savory, salt, pepper, garlic. Other flavors are going to be really, really nice on this pork belly today. What I want to do is just make sure to get every single one of these pork bellies coated on every single side. So we'll start on the top. And then I'm going to individually grab a piece here and just make sure that I get every single side until it is well coated. And that is an extremely well coated pork belly burn in. I'm going to get the rest of these exactly like this, and then we'll head straight out to the Traeger. We're outside, and today we're going to be using our Traeger Ironwood 650 to smoke our pork belly burnt ends. We're going to be smoking at 275 degrees, and we're going to be using B&B's Championship Blend pellets. And I put this wire rack onto a bacon sheet lined with some foil just so I can make it easier to get in and out, and the cleanup is going to be a lot easier for me. Let's get these on, and we're not going to look at them again until an hour and a half. And the pork belly is looking really nice, but I am noticing a few pieces here that have some dry spots on it, so we do want to spritz, and today I'm just using 100% water. Now you'll notice that it's not red because we only use AP seasoning on this, so it's going to keep a natural pork color to it, and that's completely fine. I'm going to let these keep going before we put them in a wrap, but I basically want this fat to be a little bit more rendered. So when it starts to render out a little bit better, you'll notice that it goes from that white color to a little bit more yellow, and that's all that we're looking for. So I'm going to spritz these with that water. Just make sure to get plenty of moisture on it. And we'll come back in another 45 minutes and check on them, seeing if that fat is a little bit more rendered, and then we can wrap these up. Okay, it's been an hour and a half since we last checked on our pork belly burnt ends. It's still rocking at 275 degrees on our Traeger Ironwood 650. Let's take a look. I want to talk about a few of the things that I'm looking for in order to know when it's time to wrap these up. It's been about 4 hours on our pork belly, and we have periodically been checking this. Hopefully you guys can see it in the camera, but this fat is nice and rendered exactly the way I want it. So I'll try my best to get a side-by-side, but you can see, hopefully the lighting's okay, but you can see that this is a lot more brown, more yellow than it was before when it was a little bit wider. So that's an indicator to me that the fat is rendered nicely. And for everybody checking at home, We're sitting right at around 175 degrees. When we're done with these, it's going to be around 200 degrees, and they're going to be nice and squishy and tender. So we're going to take these off now. We'll go inside, and we're going to get that jalapeno strawberry jam mixture, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get that ready. We're going to wrap these up, and then we're going to let these finish. Now that we've got our pork belly off of the Traeger, we want to make our strawberry jalapeno barbecue sauce, jam, whatever you guys want to call it. We just know it's going to be a good mixture that we're going to mix in with that pork belly. I just want to start by cutting some slices out of this jalapeno. I want them to be thin. They don't have to be paper thin, but these are going to go right in with our sauce. We'll do one more jalapeno. And these look perfect to me. The spiciness out of these jalapenos should contrast perfectly with the sweetness we're going to get from this sauce we're about to make, and that saltiness that we're going to get that we already put on that pork belly. I'm going to pour about a cup of Stubbs barbecue sauce into our measuring cup. And we're going to add half of a jar of this strawberry jam that we picked up from our local H-E-B. Now we're going to mix everything together. Give it a quick taste. And that's really good, but I think I want a little more strawberry in there, so we're going to add just maybe a tablespoon or so more. We'll keep mixing and then taste it one more time. And now we're just going to put all of our jalapenos that we diced up into this mixture and mix some more. And when all is said and done, this is exactly what we're going to glaze our pork belly burnt-ends with. We're going to put all of our pork belly into a pan, and now I'm going to pour our strawberry jalapeno jam all over top. Make sure to get everything out of there. And now I'm just going to mix everything to make sure every single one of these pork belly is completely coated with this barbecue sauce that we just made. I also want to move around some of these jalapenos just to make sure I get the spice everywhere. Put them right on top. And this looks just about perfect. Let's go ahead and put some foil over top. And then we're going to put these back onto the Traeger until they're probe tender. That's going to be around 200, 205 degrees. But I'll show you guys exactly how they look when we get there. So it's been about 5 hours on this pork belly, and I already know they're done because I checked them about 3 minutes ago, but I needed to bring you guys in and show you exactly what I'm talking about when I say probe tender. So the probe is going to easily slide into that pork belly. That way I know whenever I take a bite, it's going to be juicy, tender, and extremely delicious. Let's take a look at these. Excuse the other pork belly there. That's going to be our dinner along with this pork belly, but if you take a look here, you can see there's a bunch of steam. And let's just take a look at this pork belly burn-in right here. Look at how easily it slides in. That's like butter, and that is exactly what I want to see. The fat is nice and rendered, and these are going to be extremely tender. Let's take these inside. I'm going to reapply some of this glaze all over the pork belly, and then it's going to be time to take a bite. And about 5.5 hours later, we have jalapeno strawberry pork belly burnt-ends. That is a tongue twister. I couldn't tell you how many times I've either said it incorrectly or had to re-say it today, but they look really, really freaking good. And I'll tell you what, I'm excited about this. We did top every single one of these pork belly burnt-ends with a piece of that jalapeno that was cooking in that mixture of the strawberry jelly, and a really good barbecue sauce. And now it's just time to take a bite. I already know these are going to be incredible, but that's the fun thing about cooking, is that we just grab different ingredients and we try something different. We actually got this idea from one of my really good friends, Luke. We did it a little differently than he typically would. He would have sauteed the jalapenos in some butter before he mixed it in with the barbecue sauce, but I think that we really just wanted to see how it would do with these fresh jalapenos, if we can get a little bit of crunch factor from them. But of course, now it's time to take a bite. If you guys could smell this through the camera, I promise you, you would be on your way to the store right now to get some pork belly. Oh my gosh. That is so tender. The jalapeno is so good. I think it was a great idea to use that AP as our seasoning today. We have plenty of flavors. We have plenty of sweet. We have plenty of salty in that jalapeno. I wish it did bring a little bit more spice, but maybe next time we could try some, I don't know, maybe some serranos or something else that brings a little bit more kick. I do obviously get a little bit of spice there, but it's very, very mild. So if you guys don't like things too spicy, this would probably be perfect for you. But man, that pork belly is cooked to perfection. Takes no effort at all. The fat is just, it's an added piece of flavor to this dish. When you render the fat properly, it 100% becomes part of the flavor of your dish. I want to try a different way and keep that consistency throughout the cook. I want some spice, I want some sweet, I want some savory. If you guys have any ideas, drop them in the comments down below. Have you guys ever tried anything like this? Do you guys use jellies or jams in order to make barbecue sauces? Thanks again to my friend Luke for giving me this idea. But man, I don't even know what else to say. I hope you guys get out and try this one. As always, I really appreciate you guys tuning into this video. Have you guys noticed that I've been changing the outro like 50 million times lately? Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.